Hey, this is Will. So in this episode, I'm going to tell you how I spend a couple of hours every single day learning new things without really putting some time aside, just concentrating on that, not doing anything like that. I do have this sort of a process that I go through that I developed throughout the years, and this really allowed me to learn a lot of different new things that have improved my life, helped me out with work and all of that kind of stuff. And really this process made it much easier than I used to try to improve myself before. So hopefully it's going to be very useful. By the way, I do have some very useful freebies, so check out all of the links in the description. Also check out my Instagram account for productivity tips. I have some really cool and quick and actionable tips on there. And every single week I give out one of my courses for free. So if you're listening to this as a podcast, take the title, put it on YouTube, find a video, make sure to smash the thumbs up button and leave a comment to enter the competition. Now let's get into it. So the first step, what I do is I basically choose the mediums how I want to consume information. And this is going to be different from everyone out there, but for me, honestly, I kind of enjoy most of the mediums, but really listening is the main one for me. So whether it's YouTube or some kind of podcasting platform, whatever it is, but basically I choose the mediums, I choose the websites that I'm going to get the content from, and also I use social media actually. So again, I do post a lot of very useful content on my Instagram accounts, and I actually go through a lot of accounts that I follow, and I actually consume and learn from those accounts as well. So then step 2 is creating lists. So what I mean by this is I would literally, and this is what I advise as well, if you're going to do this, I take half a day, maybe even a day off, and basically just, let's say I want to learn a specific topic. Let's say I want to learn email marketing. So what I would do is I would go through all of the different YouTube videos on email marketing, and I would start out building the different lists. Or email marketing might be very specific. Let's say marketing in general. So I would take marketing, and then I would go through all of the top videos. I would find all of the top channels, and I would start building different lists. So within that, I would basically create the different subcategories. So let's say again, email marketing, social media marketing, e-commerce marketing. I would create all of these different lists, and I would start adding the videos. And basically I would, let's say, open a channel and go through all of the videos and choose which ones are the best. And I feel like this does require a bit of time, but honestly, this is going to maximize my results later on. So instead of me just being like, hey, what do I want to learn about, thinking every single day, hey, what should I learn about today? What are some of the videos I should look for and all of that? If you're doing that every single day, you will realize that this is actually consuming a lot of time. And even worse than that, it's not just it's consuming a lot of time, but it's also preventing you, because this is one additional step. You need to now think, okay, what do I want to learn about? Where do I go? Where do I find this content and all of that? And believe me, it seems like such a small thing, and now you might think, okay, yeah, I can do that. That's not such a big deal. But making it easier and having all of this content already prepared for yourself, believe me, it's going to make it so much easier for you to actually start consuming that content. So I do this. I basically add a couple hundred, maybe even few hundred pieces of content in my different lists. And sometimes you might come across a channel that has really good content, and then I do have some of these channels or podcasts or websites, whatever it is, that I am like, okay, I am going to just, this content is so good that I'm going to just listen through all of the episodes, because okay, some of them they might not be the best, but it's going to save me some time, and most of it is really good. So hopefully that my channel is that for you. I do, by the way, and this is what some people do as well. You can see some channels, in this case, I'm just saying it's YouTube channels, but same thing applies for websites and podcasts and so on. But some channels, they will have specific playlists on specific topics. So for example, my channel as well, within this channel, I talk about a few different pillars, and basically social media, productivity, online business, marketing in general. And I do have different playlists within those pillars. So if you go on my channel, you can find the different playlists, and then it makes it just easier for you to consume all of that content. So when you go through this process, you can look at some of these channels, podcasts, websites, and see if they have something that's already organized and might make this process a little bit easier. One additional thing what I do with this, so first of all, you want to be as specific as possible. You don't want to just have one huge playlist which is marketing and that is it, because honestly, what I noticed by myself is that some days I really feel like learning about this one topic, and some days I really feel like learning about a different topic. And this is a mistake I made before. I used to just have a playlist, and I actually still have the playlist. I do have one general playlist for just, I call it business education, and I just put in videos there sometimes that I can't really pinpoint anywhere. And I started out with just having that one playlist. But what I realized is that sometimes I would go on that playlist and I would see, let's say, the last videos I added, and I would be like, okay, I don't want to learn about this topic. And then I would start scrolling through that list and I couldn't really find what I want to learn about. And then I would just turn on some series and watch a sitcom instead. So you want to make sure that you make the different categories as much as you can to then be able to easily choose what you want to consume on a specific day. And on top of that, this is what's I'm going to discuss this a little bit later, but basically you want to also categorize the categories by basically content that you can just listen to and content that you need to visually watch. So put in some work, do make these lists. And by the way, later on when you are going to, because all the time when we go to internet, we look for different things, we do tend to find some very interesting content. And a lot of times I feel like it's such a procrastination thing, at least for me. I want to right away, I want to read about this, I want to listen to this, watch this, whatever it is. And because I have these lists now, it's very easy for me to be, okay, I'm gonna take this information that I just found that I think is absolutely amazing, and I will put it to that list, and then I can come back to it later. And this is what you want to do. You want to keep on randomly throughout, your workday or whatever it really is. When you see good piece of content, you want to keep on adding that piece of content to all of these different lists. So once I have created these lists, what I like to do, as I said, I do like to consume a lot of content through listening. So what I do, whenever I'm not doing some specific task that requires a lot of my attention, and I can sort of just listen to other stuff and I can consume that. So for example, when I wake up, I go to the bathroom, I go make a cup of coffee, I do all of these little small different things. I always put on a video or a podcast and just listen to a specific topic. And usually one little pro tip here is when you're starting out your day, try to have one list that is something that's going to really inspire you and is going to set you on a good track for that day. So I start listening when I'm just doing whatever that it is that I'm doing. Let's say if I am cooking, if I am cleaning dishes, if I am going somewhere, I'm going to the gym or whatever it is, whenever I can, I just put something from these lists and I listen to that. And also, by the way, another pro tip is, if you want to, because sometimes there are really amazing articles that I wish were podcast episodes, what you can do, there are these readers Usually I use some Chrome extensions, and those Chrome extensions basically can read the text out loud. It's not the best because it is basically a robot reading the text. It's not an actual person. So it's a little bit harder to basically concentrate on that and listen to it, but it still is very, very useful because sometimes there are just amazing articles that you don't have the time to read every single article. So honestly, you would be absolutely surprised if you try to do this and track this throughout the day, just by listening to some of these things. And you might think that, okay, I only have 5 minutes now while I'm making a snack for myself, I'm making a coffee. But believe me, those things add up, and you can listen and consume a lot of content that can honestly, literally change your life. One thing that works for me really well is as well trying to combine this with some other habits. So for example, whenever I go to the gym, I put on a podcast that I listen to. So then if I want to listen to that podcast, I need to go to the gym. If I go to the gym, I'm going to listen to the podcast, so on and so forth. And this is also a thing as well. When I go to the gym, in between my sets, I have I have my lists of all the different articles I want to read. And for me, that's probably the easiest thing to do at the gym because you don't have too much time per se, so it's hard to actually do any proper work or anything like that. So usually I just like to consume information in between when I am working out. So now you understood the steps that I take. However, there is one big obstacle here, and that is, how do you actually motivate yourself to listen to these things? You know that these things are good for you, but a lot of times, obviously, there are things that might be more entertaining. I love listening to stand-up. I love listening to just watching different shows and whatnot. First of all, as I mentioned, try to make this process as easy as possible, and creating lists is step number one for that. Also, if you don't have yet, get a Bluetooth headset so you can listen to audio without you actually needing to either play it out loud or having your earphones attached to your phone, so you need to have your phone next to you or something like that. And one thing that I don't know how I came up with this, but it works pretty well for me in terms of overcoming this motivation thing, is I set a time for myself when I am going to listen to things that are going to actually be educational, they're going to improve my life, and then time when I am going to listen to things that are basically just pure entertainment, and that is it. So for me right now, that is from when I wake up until 8 p.m. So until, I think that is a pretty long period. You might want to start out. You can start out literally with just a couple of hours. But for me, whatever I do when I'm not really doing anything, or as I said, I'm washing the dishes, I'm making a cup of coffee, whatever, I listen to something educational up until 8 p.m. And after that, even if I feel like, oh, okay, today I actually wasn't really doing anything that much and I didn't really listen to much stuff, I honestly don't feel bad because I know, okay, it's 8 and that is it. And now I'm just going to listen to something that is entertaining. And I think having that split is absolutely necessary, because a lot of times you might think, okay, actually now by the way, something I didn't mention is a lot of times if I'm at home and I make food for myself, when I eat, I tend to watch something as well. And a lot of times you might just think, okay, I already listened to some stuff that was useful for me. Let me just now listen a little bit to something that's entertaining. And it's hard to really understand how much are you doing of something that's good for you, educational, and how much are you doing something that is just entertaining. And you can't really, a lot of times you're going to do more of the entertaining stuff because it's easier and you can't quite, estimate it well. So having that thing of, hey, from this hour to this hour, it's only going to be educational things, and then after that, it's only going to be entertainment things, and that is it. And I definitely suggest to do the first at the beginning of the day because it's just easier for your brain and so on and so forth, and just do entertainment things at the end of the day because again, that's just going to allow you to sleep better as well and all of those kind of things. Oh, and also by the way, one of the things that I almost forgot is when I listen to stuff, I do take notes as well. So when I hear good points and whatever it is, or in general, let's say if I'm learning about one topic, as I listen to multiple pieces of content, I do take notes and best points to really understand, and then I can reflect. And just taking notes, even if I don't come back to them, just the fact that I take those notes, it just makes me to understand it better and just to memorize it better. So I hope this was useful. This is just my process that I feel like it has helped me out a lot to consume much more and learn much more. Do let me know what you think about it, if any of this made sense, or let me know what is your process, and if you maybe have any tips how you would improve this as well. Share all of this useful information in the comment section. As I said, I have some very useful freebies, so make sure to check out all of the links. Check out my Instagram account as well for some very quick and actionable productivity hacks. If you found this useful, make sure to smash the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, put on those notifications. Stay awesome, and I'll see you soon.